Hey everyone, welcome. We are so excited for you guys to join us. We're sad that we couldn't do this in person this year, but we are so excited that you could join us virtually. At the end, we will have a little Q&A. So during this time, if you have any questions, you can comment in the question box and we would be glad to answer. Also, for all of you joining, you are automatically entered into winning one of these $25 gift cards. So stick with us for 30 minutes. It's not going to be long, and I promise you that you want to stay the whole time. So the first thing is, this is my mom, and she will be talking about Village to Village in Guatemala.
My name is Heidi Dove. I am the director of Village to Village, and we began traveling to Guatemala about 6 or 7 years ago and fell in love with the way that they do ministry, which is adopting villages, getting to know the families, and building relationships. We help provide clean water, stoves, and we do training. Every area that we travel to looks very different. It depends on what that area needs. At home in the States, we work with local refugees that are just moving to the States from their camps, and we provide dishes and clothes and just make connections with those families. We came to Guatemala originally through our youth pastor's wife. She came here and was a blogger, and she came home and said she really felt like it would be a good place to take our students. At that time, we were working with student ministries, so we brought a group of students and parents and began looking into the villages and the areas that they need. We came home, and a small group of us decided to go back because we wanted to understand what it looked like to invest in just a village. We have fallen in love with the people. They are filled with so much joy. They have so much less than we have. Almost puts us to shame, but we just fell in love with the country and the people. We do arts and crafts. We do jump rope and soccer and painting and making bracelets and Foursquare, just all kinds of games, and we get involved with them. We don't stand back and watch. We're part of their community. And Josephina is a sweet mama that opens her home every day to the kids after school, as well as to the mamas. So we also have the opportunity to go in and do a ladies' Bible study and do crafts with the mamas because they love doing exactly what the kids do. So they'll color with the kids, they'll play games with us, and it's just a joy to be in the midst of all of that. So one of Village to Village's mottos is live simply so that others can simply live. I think this actually came from Mother Teresa. We adopted this because we realized how simple it was to make a difference in people's lives. And you may be someone that does not have a lot of income and you feel like there's not much you can do, but a cup of coffee a week, if you would simply take that out of your daily life and put that money towards something else, it could bring health to a child, it could bring clean water to a family, it could bring education to a child. So there's so many ways to make a change in your life. Not only has Village to Village adopted Live Simply, but our family has. And so we are truly careful about every penny we spend. We believe that God has given us funds and He expects us to use those in the best way possible. So I believe that the way I spend my money is what shows my heart. And my heart is for people around the world, as well as people in our own villages, which is refugees and homeless. And when I can use the funds that God gives me in a way that pleases Him, He is only going to bless our family and He is only going to bless our ministry more.
So to give online now or monthly, you can go to our website, Hope4Villages.org, and then click on Give. So this night allows us to do ministry for another year. Day-to-day ministry includes postage, copies, trip planning, researching, child sponsorship, purchasing airline tickets, insurance, and so much more. What you're about to see is why day-to-day cost and time is worth what the other part of our ministry looks like. This past August, we were able to take a team to Moldova and do a camp for kids who live in a village who may never be able to go to a camp. And so it was a lot of fun. We had different stations, and they really enjoyed the crafts. We taught them how to do tie-dye and making different things for their family. So they thought that was a lot of fun. And we did church services at the beginning of the day and then at the end of each day. And we were also able to do foster care training for parents. Foster care is huge there in Moldova. And we basically come in and just tell them how we do it here in the States and answer any questions that they may have. We also did after school training for the staff of Doxadeo. And my favorite part of going to Moldova is seeing my sponsor kids. Because I do sponsor 2 little boys there, and we also have a few of our team members who sponsor kids, and so it's just a sweet time to see them and spend time with them. It's kind of a different relationship than some people have with their sponsor children who may never meet them, so it is a great time to just spend time with them. This past February, we took a team to Guatemala. And in my opinion, it was probably one of the best trips that we have had in Guatemala. We were super busy, but we were always doing something and helping people and just being poured into. And that's what made the trip just amazing. So we were able to install 4 stoves. We did build them, and it was an all-day activity, but it was a lot of fun, and just seeing how big of a difference a stove made for a family was amazing, and just made us realize how much we take our appliances for granted. And we were also able to install some clean water systems. We taught the families how to clean them, and whenever they would need to change it, how they could make another one. They are super simple, and the water systems are a huge deal there because they do save lives. Clean water is very difficult to get in Guatemala, and because of our sponsors and donors and people who have believed in us, we were able to purchase these clean water systems for these families, and that's amazing. We were also able to do a women's Bible study, which is great because community is a huge thing, and we always just want to encourage it because without one another building each other up, it's hard to survive in any country anyway. And so we just really like to encourage that. And we had a sweet mama there who taught us how to make a Guatemalan meal. And it was an all-day, all hands on deck activity. And it just meant the world to her, but it really meant so much to us as well. So just building those relationships at these countries is just huge, and we hold on to that, and we know that, they meant so much to us, and it means so much to them when we come. We also visited this school, and on our first day, we walked in to, I don't even know, hundreds of kids just standing and clapping for us, and then we did praise and worship with them, which was incredible, and it was very, very moving to see these little kids raising their hands and closing their eyes, and you can just feel Jesus in the room. We came back a few days later, and we helped with some painting and carpentry projects.
So water filtration systems is one of the biggest things that we do in Guatemala. For $50, you can get a water system for a family that lasts 10 years, and that's huge for them. It helps them be healthier. It changes their lives. And we have a system that is so simple. They teach us how to put it in, and we're able to train people. So Christina is one of our board members, and she actually did a short video just to show you what that water system looks like.
This is the filters that we have used in Guatemala, Filter of Hope. And these filters come with everything that you would need. It's got the hole cutter, the drill bit with the hand tool. Then it's got a filter cartilage, a filter hose with adapter, and it's got a hook that you can put on the filter and a syringe to clean the filter out. So first you would take this, put it together. Then you would need a 5-gallon bucket, and you would make a hole this size. Then you would take the hose and the first filter, you take it apart, and it has 2 washers on it. One washer goes on the outside, and one washer goes on the inside. Make sure you tighten it. Then you take the other filter, and if you can see, the filter has water flow this way, and then it also has a backwash. So when you're using the filter, you would connect the hose this way. So basically the arrow goes like this. Then you would take water, pour it in the bucket. We're gonna add some dirt to the water so you can see how it cleans. Then you take the filter and you let the water flow. And this water is safe to drink. You close the filter. You put the hook on the filter, and you can hang it on the bucket. That's it. To clean the filter, you would use the filtered water that came from the bucket. You would take the syringe, and you would have to do it once a day. Take the hose off. And then you would use this side, open it up, backwash, put the syringe this way, and you would need to do it 3 times. And that's it. And these filters, if you take care of them, you wash them every day, once a day, they will last for up to 10 years. Thank you.
These water filtration systems are huge, and so are the stove installations, training camps, and then also child sponsorships. And our goal is not to change the world, but we can change the world of a child. And to do this, we have to spend hours planning and running the nonprofit, and that's why your donations help us do this. So we kind of broke it down. $50 a week pays for planning for one trip for the year. $10 a week pays for all of our accounting fees, and then $5 a week helps pay for our website for the year. So next you will see Michael Cole. He serves on our board, and he is going to tell you some more about our needs this next year.
Welcome. Thank you for taking time out tonight to meet with us, Village to Village. My name is Michael Cole. I am one of the board members for Village to Village. I am recording this from my house. It's a very unique time in America right now, and we're just blessed that we're able to still come together for our annual meeting and to kind of just let you all know what we've done in Village over this last year and what we continue to want to do going forward, and how that you all can be a part of that ministry as we move forward. I always like to talk about Village to Village and just give a brief summary of what our philosophy is as a nonprofit. And I think the best way to explain that is that we are a nonprofit that facilitates partnership. So we are looking for other communities to partner with. We are looking for other nonprofits to partner with. We are looking for folks that can come alongside us, or we can come alongside them and multiply what we're able to do. And that's what Village to Village, what our goal is. We are facilitating partnership to affect positive change for the communities that we're serving. You know, the communities of Guatemala, of Africa, of Moldova, of Paraguay, and then our local area working with refugees and immigrants. We are not just standing alone as a nonprofit. We are partnering with others to make a larger impact in those communities. And that's also with you all. We are not doing this on our own. We are partnering and wanting you all to partner with us to multiply what we're doing. We at Village to Village, you can see all the things that we've done this last year and the things that we're talking about going forward, but we can't do any of that without your support, without your time and energy, and also without your financial support. We have to have a certain amount of funds in order to facilitate Village to Village, to be able to have a paid staff member to do all these things. They're able to navigate the different processes and procedures in order to make these trips happen and to partner with these other agencies. You know, we just had a trip. The last one I think was to Guatemala, and I'm sure everyone has seen pictures on Facebook, and we've shown pictures here, and it talks about all the things that were done. And I mean, it's a great thing. Working with families with clean water, putting stoves and ovens into folks' houses. They're just so grateful for those things, and they're so happy to have that stuff. And you see pictures of the local community and the kids that we're touching and the things that we're doing, and it's all great. And that week or 10 days that they're there, it's amazing. What you don't see though is the weeks and months leading up to that trip. The level of planning and logistics, paperwork, forms, all kinds of different things that go together to make those trips happen. There are just meetings after meetings after meetings with the people on the ground there, with the local people here, to make these kind of things happen. Without having administrative funds, we would not be able to do this. We would not be able to make this happen. We would not be able to provide clean water for folks in Guatemala, or work with foster parents or after school kids in Moldova, partner with the churches there. These are not things that we would be able to do if we did not have paid staff, if we did not have a nonprofit through the government, if we did not have the ability to have a space and have simple things like a computer and office supplies and all that kind of thing. So that's what tonight is also about. It's also about raising funds to, I guess I would say, power Village to Village for the next year of time. And our goal, in talking with the board and with Heidi, our director, our goal is $40,000. That's not a huge amount for a nonprofit in order to operate for a year. We spend a lot of time making sure that the funds that are provided to us do the most good. And we as a board take it very seriously, the stewardship of money that is donated to us at Village to Village, and making sure that we can multiply that as much as possible.
We so much appreciate Mike and our other board members. They give of their time and finances and really help keep us accountable. As a reminder, there are several ways that you can give tonight and even after tonight. Online at Hope4Villages.org, the number 4. Go to the donate button, or you can send a check to Village, 1871 Boyers Road, Rockingham, Virginia, 22801. And we're going to take a few questions now.
Okay, so Cindy has asked, does Village to Village serve locally or just overseas?
We do serve locally. We started overseas in several countries and came home and realized that we needed to be doing something in our own hometown for us to be able to do it elsewhere. And so we started working with local refugees because we felt like that was the closest thing to what we were already doing. We work with Church World Services in Harrisonburg, Virginia. They're kind of our partner here, and really just help facilitate welcoming refugees and making sure they have good Christmases. And so it's a huge blessing.
How do we learn about trips?
So trips are always going to be on our Instagram and on our Facebook pages. You can always email us as well if you want to go to the website and just email us and ask us. But generally we do trips to Moldova and Guatemala. Generally February is Guatemala and Moldova is August. Next year Paraguay may be added to the list. And we do have special trips in between if there are things that come up that they have needs for. So just feel free to get in touch with us.
All right, from Jamie, do I need special training to join on a trip?
No special training, no language. I do not speak Spanish or Russian, and we have amazing partners that really facilitate everything that we do once we hit the ground there. And honestly, if you have a love for people and you can just sit and play a game with a child, talk to a mama, that's all you need to do is have the willingness. And we help you with fundraising. We just try to come up with ways to make it a little easier, but it will always be worth your while to go.
All right, and how do I find information on sponsoring a child?
Child sponsorships, we have those in Africa and Moldova. We are going to be opening that up to other countries soon, but it's the same thing. You go to Hope4Villages.org. Normally, you're going to see pictures of children that need sponsorships. Right now, we just had our last child sponsored a couple weeks ago, so we will be rebuilding that. Sponsorships are a huge thing. At $30 a month, and it allows children to go to school that will not go to school unless someone meets that need. And occasionally there are medical needs that come up that we will know about, and sometimes Village to Village will step in and help with that. But if you want to make a difference in a life, I would consider sponsoring a child one of the best ways to do it.
If we can't go on trips at this time, what are other ways we can get involved?
We have a warehouse, and it is full of things that people donate, mostly for refugees, but we do take some of that stuff out of the country. Gently used clothes, which to me is almost like new, because we don't want to give people things that look used. We need dishes, we need towels and blankets and toys, easy reader books because they're just learning how to read. We also have backpacks and school supplies that we take on a regular basis to Moldova. So praying and giving is huge, because we cannot do the ministry without your support, and but there's always ways to get involved.
All right. Is there an age requirement to go on a trip?
You have to be 18 if you are going to go without a parent. If you are under 18, we ask that a parent comes with you, just because of legal issues, and we want to make sure that we do everything above board and that nothing happens. We have taken 12-year-olds, and they did amazing. Probably they do better than adults, because their hearts are just wide open and they don't have the fear that adults have. So if you want to come as a family, Guatemala is one of our best trips to do as a family. Okay? All right. We are getting ready to go into a little bit of what God has called Village to over this next season. I do want to say before we start that video, tonight $40,000 is our first goal, and that is just to get us through the next year, to be able to survive another year. We do have a larger goal that is $200,000, and that is to get us to the next phase of where God is taking us, which is an off-site campus, and we're going to talk a little bit about that now.
We are so thankful that you are joining us this evening, and I have a friend, Cindy, that went with us to Guatemala in February, and she went as our photographer and did some amazing things, and really has an interest in Village to Village, which we're always grateful for. So we're going to share some time just chatting.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be with you. I had the opportunity to see firsthand what a little bit does overseas, and had the privilege of serving with you since then. So I know a little bit of the background of what the Lord has laid on your heart in this new season and the vision that He has given you. So can you tell me just one more time?
Sure. We have our fundraiser in May every year, and last year, about 2 days after our fundraiser, God placed a new vision on our hearts, and as a board we have prayed over it and really tried to fine-tune what that looks like. And part of what we do when we go into villages, as well as locally with refugees, is get them to the point of self-sufficiency. That is what we want. We never want villages to be dependent on us. We want them to be able to do on their own. So we feel like as a nonprofit, that is our goal, is to get to the place of self-sufficiency. What that means is that eventually our donors' funding would be all for clean water and stoves and training and camps. So if we can get to the next phase, it will triple what we are able to do in the lives of families around the world. One of the ways that we are looking at doing that is having our own space. We would get an off-campus location that would also house an Airbnb or a tea house or a venue, so that would be the money, the income that would take care of our day-to-day expenses.
Yeah. And guys, I have to be really honest with you. When I went to Guatemala and saw ministry in action, not only was I impressed, but I learned. I was really touched. I had the opportunity to come back and speak to classes because I'm a teacher, and share. And one of the very first things that I share is that you can't go to a village outside of our country and not see the poverty and social injustice that looks very different. We have those things here, but it's on a level that sometimes your mind cannot comprehend. And we all can't hop on a plane, but there are things that we can do. And so what can somebody do if they don't feel called to get on a plane and do ministry for 2 weeks?
We depend on the prayers of everybody that follows us. That is one of the biggest things that we know is going to get us where God is calling us. we have people that volunteer time and that donate amazing things that we can use when we take. But the other thing that we're really focusing on tonight is finances. And it's not as hard as it seems. Our family had a tough year a couple years ago, and in the midst of really a financial crisis, God clearly told us that we would be sponsoring 10 children. And that's a car payment. So for us at the time, that was impossible. But we have committed our finances to God through the years, and He really taught us how to live simply, how to look at our finances and fine-tune them. And as one bill got paid, we would sponsor a child. As another bill got paid, we would sponsor a child, because we know that long-term, our investment in the needs of families around the world is ultimately what God would have us do.
Right.
And the fun thing is He blesses us, and we're living on less, but we're able to function, and we're able to do more than we ever could have if we had not willingly given those funds.
Yeah. I love thinking about how God has a teaching for us in the concept of an upside down kingdom, and He likes to show off. You can never outgive God. And so when we're faithful and we do things with our finances that do not make sense, He really does really big things. And so it is really exciting to think that Village to Village would be self-sufficient, because I saw firsthand just what a blessing one clean water filter is. But to do that times infinity is just amazing.
We have definitely been given a vision beyond our resources, but that's the fun part of God, because if we could do it ourselves, what would we need Him for?
Right.
And so He continues to give us that vision. Part of the vision includes you all, and so we're so excited to pull you all in to what God is doing. And it is so simple. It's as simple as $5 a week. That doesn't sound like much, but when you times that towards half of the people that follow us, we would have our new location paid for in full. And so it may seem like a small thing, but in all honesty, it's a specialty drink, or it's a meal. And if you would be willing to give that up for a year, we would have our new space paid for. And so we're really asking that you all test God in it and pray over it and see what He would have you do. There's a saying from Dr. Roden that I love. The world measures success by how much money you make and how many people serve you. But God's kingdom is upside down, just like you were talking about. Success is measured by how much you give and how many people you serve. And that is so opposite of what we are used to hearing, but I believe it with all my heart. And I also believe that God is not just calling Village to Village to that. He is calling all of our followers to that, because He will bless you as you trust us with your finances and you are willing to give. He will bless your family, not just Village to Village.
Yeah. One thing that always has stood out to me, when we tell our kids to do something, it goes about this far. But when we show them and put actions into words, it just really is such a much bigger lesson. And so then we want to raise our children to do ministry and to not hold on to the blessings, because I believe that we were all born in a time and a place for a reason. And we have blessings, and we should be using them to further God's kingdom.
We are making a huge step of faith in September. I will be going full-time with a nonprofit on a part-time salary. But because of what you were talking about, we know that God is going to take care of that, and it's not going to be an issue. We are moving forward because God has called us to, and we so much believe that He has already put people in place that are willing to finance the move that we are getting ready to make. And that is not just going to change Village to Village. That's going to change lives around the world and locally with our refugees.
One thing that I love about you is that you love to scripture pray. And so you have been praying a particular scripture in this new season.
We have. We have been praying 1 Chronicles 4:10. Oh, that you would bless us indeed and enlarge our territory, that your hand would be with us, that you would keep us from evil, that we may not cause pain. And that is what we believe God is doing for us. He is expanding our vision.
like crazy. And we are so excited to share with everyone the results of tonight and what happens in the next couple months.
Well, I'm super excited to see in the next few years how God just expands your territory. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you for joining.
So I have an author that I read a lot of his books, and a lot of our prayer tends to be around this. Mark Batterson writes, God's vision for your life is bigger than your vision for your life. And we believe that completely, not just for Village to Village, but for families. And so we're just super excited to see all that God does.
So while we were in Guatemala in February, it was our first time putting together stoves. And our team was able to install 4 stoves, and it took 1 hour to do each one. It was a lot of work, but it was so rewarding because it really served the families. It's a lot healthier because they're not having all that smoke inside the homes. They were mostly geared towards single moms, and this was able to bring in some income for their family and help the moms provide a little bit more for their families. Okay, and now, so we have some auction items. Our auction starts tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and it ends on Sunday at 8 p.m. All of these items are from Guatemala and Moldova, and then all the proceeds from this auction goes to tonight, our biggest fundraiser. So I'm going to show you some of those items right now. Here we go. So we have a ton of Guatemalan coffee. This stuff is my favorite. My mom doesn't drink coffee, but everyone that has tried this has said that it is really good. So there's that. Do you want to get the blanket behind you? We have this amazing blanket from Guatemala, and all this stuff is handmade. So this will be up for grabs. We have a ton of these little figurines for kids. These are made in Moldova. This one is made from a trafficked woman, or trafficked women make most of these items, and they're just really cute and fun for little girls. Here is this is my favorite little crossbody bag from Guatemala. So we have a few of these. This is also one of my favorites. It is a cloud pillow. This is from Moldova. Whoops, there we go. And it has cute little legs. But I have one of these on my bed, so they're fun. And then this is the last thing that I'm going to show, but there's going to be a ton more. And I have one of these. These are great. These are great overnight bags. This is from Guatemala. And it also has a long strap and a short strap. And it even says Guatemala. So if anyone asks you, it's from Guatemala. So if y'all go on our Facebook tomorrow at 8 a.m., all the items will be on there. We will share some on our Instagram, but they will all be on Facebook. So make sure you go and check it out.
Okay, the sweet things that are made really do make a difference, not just with us, but it helps the families that we purchase them from. So we always try to do as much as we can just to help the mamas and the people that are trying to make it in other countries. Just a reminder about giving, ways that you can give. You can go to Hope4Villages.org and just select the Give button. You can also send checks to Village, 1871 Boyers Road, Rockingham, Virginia, 22801. And we've got a little extra time, so I'm going to share one of my first experiences. A lot of you are new, so you haven't heard this. It was just probably our 3rd year going to Guatemala. There was a sweet mama that was in her 20s. She had 2 young children. Her name was Ingrid, and we found out before we went that she needed to have a total hysterectomy. Here, that's not an issue, but there you have to have payment up front, and they had no way to pay for that. So we prayed, and we had some people that gave, and we actually were in Guatemala the day that she came home from the hospital. And they don't do pain medication there, so she literally thought she was dying. She was in a lot of pain, and did not quite understand anything. And Pastor Carrie was with us that year, and a few of us went up to her house to see her and just ask if we could pray for her physically, because we knew what she was going through. And when Pastor Carrie finished praying, we had an interpreter there because she spoke Spanish, but she looked up at Pastor Carrie, and we had not spoken at all about the spiritual aspect of anything. And she said, I really want to know Jesus. And she prayed right then and there and became a Christ follower. And Village to Village does not go with the intention of making people Christians. Our first priority is to meet needs, to invest in people. And the reason we adopt villages is because we go to those same villages year after year after year. And that is how we can sponsor their children, and that is how they start to trust us. And at some point, we hope that they see Christ in our lives, and that's where the turning point happens. So thanks for joining us. You are a huge part of this ministry. We cannot do it without you. And we are only as strong as our supporters. We will move when God allows us to. We will be still when He asks us to, and we will be obedient, because that takes all the pressure off of us and places it on God. And we're going to pray before we go. If you have friends that have any interest, we're going to be able to, this will be up and running on our Facebook page, so people can go back and watch it. Don't forget about the auction. That's a huge part of what we are doing. That will help us get to where we need to be. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for this night and for the people that have joined in, and Lord, for the people that have supported us for the last 4 years. And I thank you for the vision that you have given our board. I know that you have amazing things for us, and I just praise you for everyone that has the smallest part in what we have become. Watch over these precious families and the families that we deal with, from refugee families to those across the world. Just meet their needs, Lord. Amen. Have a great evening.
Thank you, guys.